Morals are funny things. They shape who we are until the world reminds us how fragile they can be. Most survivors in this new world have thrown their beliefs to the wind, but Wilbert runs on plants is not most survivors. He believes in mercy, even when mercy has no place left. He will not take a life, not of the living and not of the dead. He refuses to feast on flesh, believing that he must survive by nurturing life, not consuming it. In a land where everything's trying to kill you, he's trying to live, not just survive. His hands grow calloused, not from violence, but from work. He tills the dirt, plants seeds, and waters what life remains, even as the world rots around him. But ideals have a cost. The waters run dry, the plants thirst, and to save them, he'll have to leave his quiet sanctuary and step back into chaos he swore to avoid. So today in Project Zomboid, we'll see just how long morals can outlast the apocalypse. I spawned in at the Riverside Trailer Park dazed and confused. Unhappy with my situation, but knowing I had to do something, I checked the fridge. An orange. This will provide nourishment for my journey ahead. Next, heading over to the cupboards, I found vegetable soup and canned potatoes. Two long-lasting goods that may be useful later. Stepping out, the first thing I noticed was the warmth of Kentucky July. The second thing was the loud call of nearby cicadas. As I snuck around the side, I met my first challenge, a Zomboid. Given who I was and what I stood for, I couldn't attack him. However, I had an idea that would let us both remain unharmed, and so I ran. I ran faster than ever before the Nox infection, frantically trying to find some safe haven in these desperate times. That's when I stumbled upon a warehouse, shimmering like a beacon of hope. The first door was locked. Heading over to the side, I finally found a door that would hear my pleas and let me in. Taking in the musty smell of the warehouse, I got to looting, where I found a screwdriver, nails, and a hammer. Perfect early base defense. Among the more important things I found in the warehouse were seeds and gardening equipment. This will allow me to have a safe and consistent supply of vegan food. I also found a hard hat and a dust mask. This will allow some protection against the Nox infection and the victims of it. The final things I found were a shovel, a crowbar, and a propane torch. These tools will let me survive just a little bit longer. Feeling the heavy weight of over-encumbrance, I decided to eat the orange. You know, from earlier in the episode. Now feeling full of vigor, I headed out and checked the surrounding area for zomboids. Seeing a couple, but choosing not to fear them, I went into the woods, hoping they would connect me to a duo of farmhouses I remembered from childhood. The woods were loud and overbearing, but they brought a subtle, familiar feeling with them. Stepping into a clearing, I finally found what I was looking for, the farmhouses. Entering the one closest to the woods, I began taking in its surroundings. Cozy and quiet, this farmhouse could be a good base location. That's when I went to go check the kitchen. There's nothing. What a lime. Finding nothing of use in the kitchen, I exited the farmhouse and looked to see if the area was clear. It wasn't. And given that I could not harm these zomboids in any way, I had to think of an idea to get rid of them, and I had to think of it fast. I came up with the idea to draw the zomboids' attention and get them to horde around me. As you can see, this part worked wonders. Step 2 of this plan was to lure them in the woods where, after walking for a bit, I would run away and leave them behind, stranded, lost, and confused. After losing them, I decided to go to the other farmhouse and investigate. Okay, so... oh no, and I don't want them to break down any doors, so... Okay. There's already tons. Oh no, I didn't mean to run in. Woo! I am the greatest Zomboid player ever to live. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh man, it's Will Smith's wife. Jesus. You're not looking too good. Jane, I think is your name. After dealing with them the same way I dealt with the first group, I arrived at the farmhouse, where I could finally start investigating. You know what? I like to keep my broken glass, fresh, so it's going in the fridge. In fact, it's going in the freezer. Seeing that broken window, I knew I couldn't leave that open for long. Remembering that I saw some planks in the warehouse, I decided to head back there. If I didn't seal up that window, I couldn't end up like that guy, and I did not want to. Making my way back to the warehouse, I tried to enter through the same door I came in through, but was surprised to find the door ripped off its hinges. When I went inside, I found a group of zomboids that must have been looking for me from earlier. Deciding that that was not the option I wanted to take, I found another entrance, and quickly grabbed all the planks that I would need to patch up the hole. What could go wrong now? Stepping outside, it had already gotten dark, and scanning the area, there were in fact creatures that go bump in the night. Luckily, the darkness and surrounding woods let me lose them, even if the woods were a little too dark. Making it home, I attempted to patch up the window with a barricade, but quickly realized I was not skilled enough as a carpenter, and so I got to work, disassembling things so I can learn the trade, a task that I believe I'll be doing a lot in the coming days of this apocalypse. Like my ancestors before me, I had to step up and put in the work. After a long first day like that, I decided to get some shut-eye. Waking up full of energy and hope that today will be better than the last, I decided to do some farming, so I began digging furrows and sowing seeds.
Don't like that. Sneaking means you're near something.
Nothing can live without water. It's the very lifeblood of both our existence and things like the humble tomato plant. That's why I made sure to water my plants carefully. Without water, we would have no farm. Without water, we could potentially die. We cannot run out of water.
No. But, What? Wait, what? Sink. That sink doesn't want to work with me. Oh, wait a minute. I found out why the sinks aren't working. There's no water in them. We've ran out of water. The water's been shut off.
Seeing as the water had been shut off, I decided to go to bed and leave that problem for tomorrow when I could focus on it fully, among other things. I woke up to the light peering through the window. The sound of mourning doves graced my ears as I was waking up. Looking out the window at the landscape before me, I felt a sense of calm wash over, but I knew it wouldn't last long. Heading outside, I had to deal with the first few Zeds the night had brought. While running through the woods like usual, I got my first injury of this nightmare. Luckily, it was just a scratch. I ran home and ripped a piece of clothing that I could use to stop the bleeding. I then had me a quick breakfast of peas and headed out towards Riverside under the cover of nightfall. I would need gas, a car, and some water. Being surprised by all these zomboids, but having no choice, I simply walked away. After making it to Riverside, I spotted a van that looked promising, but the area wasn't safe yet. After leading the surrounding critters into the woods, I stumbled upon my first house, and after entering it, I began looting and disassembling.
Oh, no. Oh my god. Oh my god.
After almost being killed because of that stupid mistake, I made my way into my second house where I had a snack and got back to work raising my carpentry level.
And let's go. I have carpentry level 1, which means I should be able to at least do barricades.
Barricading that window made me feel safer, and I got back to work. Who knows, maybe it would save my life.
Oh no.
Again cheating death and getting lucky, I had a new problem to deal with, the horde of zomboids that had found my location. Luckily, old methods seemed to do the trick. After clearing out the bulk of the zomboids, I went into the house with a van to look for keys.
Man, nothing. I did all of that and nothing.
Finding nothing of use other than bourbon, I figured I could at least cross one thing off my list and get some gas from the van outside. Walking away, I spotted a taxi in the neighbor's driveway. Hopping in, I first had to sleep and wait for nightfall. Nightfall came and I went poking around to see what I could find. Surprise, I found nothing, so I got to work disassembling. After disassembling all that I cared to, I went out to look for another car, which led me to a small store with a red van outside, but I found something much better.
Sledgehammer! It could be really useful. It's gonna weigh me the fuck down.
I had to leave behind some canned goods and my crowbar. Heading outside, I tried to get into the much nicer white van where I was rudely interrupted by a zomboid. The zomboid chased me into even more zomboids. This was getting bad. However, I spotted a beat up truck that for some reason spoke to me. Maybe it was the cracked window, or maybe it was the rust. Hopping the fence, I got in.
Go get him. He's running. I'm taking it. Nope. Oh yes, keys in ignition. Okay. I don't care if this is a terrible car. This will get me back home and back up here. Grab both of them. Get one. one, baby. No. I'm so scratched. I'm just scratched. I'm just scratched. Do I not have any bandages? No, I don't. I don't have any bandages. Get out of the way. Oh, whoops. Disinfect it. Bandage it. Okay, I'm gonna leave the car here just in case there's zombies right on the perimeter. I'm gonna check if there's zombies on the perimeter first.
Once I made it back, I patched up the hole and barricaded the rest of the windows. Finally, I was somewhat safe. I went to bed, ready for more adventure. At around midday, I woke up. Given the events from the day before, I decided to sleep in, and somehow I was still tired. Going downstairs, I had my usual breakfast of peas. Stepping outside, I noticed a dead woman, lying there, bloody and mangled. She died right outside of my house. I could have done something to save her, if she would have just made it closer. Deciding to give her a proper burial tomorrow, I got my car and prepared to head to Riverside. The drive-in was more challenging than the walk. The zombies could hear me coming from a mile away. Figuring I had no other option, I tried to use my horn to lure them out of the area. With my tire now popped, I had no idea what to do. Stumbled upon a new car, but with the amount of zomboids that were in tow, I had no time to thoroughly check it out, so I just tried to get home. The main road was full of zomboids, so I tried to double back through the neighborhood and then through the woods. That turned out to be the biggest mistake I have ever made, as I soon got stuck. Now on foot, I had to run back to the farmhouse before nightfall came. Luckily, by the time that night fully set in, I was in the woods, and surely nothing would follow me now. Right? Making it home, I took a second to get a drink. That's when I was rudely interrupted by a zomboid that I now have to escort away. Finally, with that handled, I went to bed, hoping, no, praying, that tomorrow would be a better day for me. Waking up, I shuffled to the window to make sure the coast was clear. Today I would head back to the warehouse with the intention of disassembling crates. Passing through these woods again, I felt oddly safe, as if these woods had become a close ally in these dark times. The factory had become overrun since last time I was here, but I had to get in somehow. No, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. The factory once provided safety, now it betrayed me. Running from the alarm, I wondered if I could ever go back even to the farmhouse. Now lost in dense woods, I was peckish, panicked, thirsty, and overloaded. Hopping a fence, I made it to a grand country club where I quickly learned I was not wanted here. Now exhausted with my legs about to give out, I ran inside to get away from the zomboids and ended up in a locker room. Now trapped with zomboids outside, for the first time I was truly hopeless. All that I built was taken away from me in an instant. I was exerted, tired, peckish, wet, thirsty, and overloaded. Sitting down, I remembered some bleach I had found in Riverside. I've heard it's the new hottest way to go in Knox County. Placing it on the floor, I stared at it for what seemed like ages. I didn't know if there was any hope for me in that moment. Checking the lockers, desperate for something, I found nothing, so I decided to get comfortable. Moments like these remind us why we live. I had a pretty great adventure, but in this dingy locker room, it was all coming to a close. It was cold, but a warm, almost euphoric feeling came over me as I realized this nightmare was over. Why do we live just to die? That's life's greatest question. I think it's so we can experience. That is where we truly live. I may not have met my goal of surviving, but I did not consume flesh and I did not take a life, and that's good enough for me. Thank you for watching.